Welcome back to the Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host, Wu Ruiguo. We'll continue our conversation with Dr. Sheng Deaflympics, who is the CEO of the organizing committee of the 21st Deaflympics in Taipei. Zhiren, we understand that Deaflympics is for athletes with disabilities. Of course, with 4,000 or nearly 4,000 athletes competing in the games in summer, there must be a lot of special preparations that you need in terms of how to transport them, how to get them to the venues they need to compete. And what are the preparations that the organizing committee has already put into effect, and what are some of the things that we're going to be seeing as different from other sporting events?
Aside from the regular preparation for any sporting events, we do have to put in special efforts for our preparation for the deaf athletes. Just to name a few examples. These athletes can hear the gun for them to start running or start jumping into the water. So we do have to put kind of like a traffic system. The red light, yellow light, and green light. So every athlete will have a light signal right beside his feet. And then he will just look down on his feet. So when the light turns from red, yellow to green, that's where they start running. And also, that's the same for swimming. The light will be at the other side of the pool. So they will just watch the light and decide when to start. And also, for example, for every venues, an ordinary sporting event would just use the public announcing system. But for us, we have to prepare many LED screens so that we have sign language to tell the athletes what's happening and what will be the next event, or to make announcements. So these are all really extra expenses that we have to make in order to serve these athletes. And also for safety reasons, we now prepared vibrators so that these vibrators, when they receive signals, they will work as alarm clock. So if they put them under their bed, and if something happens, an emergency happens at night, we will be able to wake them up. So all these things, we really have to go an extra step. Because from what I know, in the past Deaflympics, no organizing committee has ever prepared vibrators like this. We are the first one to do this, and we're really glad that it is donated by by private businesses. We got a lot of help from the corporations here in Taipei. Everybody contributed to our preparation.
Well, that's very nice of them, and also very unique for the game themselves. And I understand that as a CEO, we were talking before the taping started, that nobody really envies your job because you have a lot of responsibilities, of course, and you need to pay attention to a lot of details. And to stage successfully a sporting event like the Deaflympics in Taipei, you need to have a lot of volunteers. How do you recruit your volunteers? How many volunteers have you been able to secure at this point?
Our estimate is that for different purposes, we probably need about 4,500 volunteers in total. But as you know, volunteers, sometimes they don't show up. So you cannot prepare 4,500 before the game only. So our goal is to have 8,000 volunteers. We almost double that. And I'm glad to report that we did reach that threshold. So we now do have more than 8,000 volunteers now in training, so that even though some of them won't be able to show up in September, but we still have more than enough volunteers to help. And teaching them sign language is really also another challenge, because I learned this after I became the CEO for the organizing committee. Every country has a different sign language. It's not like there is
not a universal.
No, there's no universal. There is something called international sign language, but it is not really well known yet. Even the athletes themselves, they do not know. Not all of them know international sign language. It is a language that is still at its young developmental age stage. So for us, that's a real challenge, because we have to be able to communicate with the athletes from different countries. That's really a big challenge.
How many versions of sign languages have you learned or being exposed to?
Almost every country has
a separate
sign language.
So out of the 8,000 volunteers that you have recruited, you need to train them according to the different countries.
No, what we're doing now is we teach them a version of international sign language.
Okay.
So that's the most we can do.
The bare minimum.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and then they will have to adapt and
be creative,
improvise. Yes, along the way.
Right.
Yes, and we also understand that as a CEO, you need to coordinate between the different levels of government. You were telling me before the taping started that you were in the district in Taipei and talking to the local administrative heads, Li Zhang, about the possibility of how to coordinate your efforts when the game starts. And you also have to, interact with the central government.
Right.
For example, our sports ministry. And then you also have to coordinate with the international, Deaflympics headquarters. And then all these coordination among the different governmental agencies as well as the private businesses. You said that a major source of sponsorship. And how do you do that? What are some of the things that a CEO that you need to develop and also for the host city, for Taipei, need to develop in terms of accommodating the event?
Yeah, actually, you were very thorough when you make these examples. When I was listening to your question, I was thinking, the type of people that I had made presentations to.
Yes.
It goes from the prime minister to ministers and to Li Zhang, as you said, the local administrative heads.
Yes.
Also to business owners, to our sponsors. And also, we have to cover all these bases.
Yes.
So it is really a job of coordination. And I'm grateful that so far I'm really getting mostly support from all these different actors that are involved. And it is really a huge project.
Of course.
From parking to health administration to security. Everything has to be coordinated. So this is really a more than 24-hour job, workday job. So it's really tiring. It's really tiring.
And we also know that when you host something like this, you prepare for all the contingencies, likely or unlikely ones. Of course, the new H1N1 virus that's been going around, especially during the last few weeks, has certainly been somewhat of an alarm for a lot of countries around the world, including the U.S. and also in Asia, Korea and Japan, both have confirmed cases of such. We certainly hope, of course, by the time the game comes, this virus is contained, under control, and it's not going to be an issue in terms of all these athletes coming in, in terms of travel and, like you said just now, about health precautionary measures. But in terms of preparations against any type of contingency, how would you prepare the organizing committee, or what are the measures that you have to come up with in terms of countering something like this from happening?
Right. We have a series of rehearsals, both on security and on health.
Yes.
So starting from May, we will have at least 3 to 4 rehearsals of large scale. Citywide rehearsals to prepare everybody involved for emergencies. And also we are part of the health protection system with the city government. We also join in the network with the city government, who is also connected with the central government.
Of course.
So the last few weeks I've been asked by reporters that is Deaflympics going to be held on schedule because of the H1N1 virus? So we are making all kinds of preparations, and we are prepared for the worst, but we hope for the best.
Yes, and finally in this segment, I want to ask you is that regarding the games themselves, this is a very important occasion for the city of Taipei. Like we said earlier, it certainly puts Taipei on the international map even more. And what are some of the special promotional activities that organizing committee has planned or has implemented already in terms of helping people, spectators, athletes around the world to get to know the city of Taipei a lot better?
I think domestically, our marketing is already having a good effect.
Yes.
We do have public opinion polls. I think last time I checked, 93% of the public knows about the Deaflympics, right?
Yes.
And I think internationally, it is something that we still have to work harder on. We're going to hold a press conference in Hong Kong in sometime in June.
Okay.
We're now still making the final details arrangement.
Okay.
Because one of the lead singer for our international song is a male performer from Hong Kong.
Okay, good.
So we thought it's going to help us attract international media attention, especially Hong Kong's media attention.
It's a lot more international.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And also in August, we're going to hold a series of artistic performances. We had Blue Man group from New York.
Okay.
It's a very famous performing group.
Yes.
They're coming to Taipei to perform for us as a warm-up event.
Okay.
So for the whole August, we will have 3 to 4 performances of this scale in the Taipei Arena, so that we hope that these warm-up events can really push our publicity to a height.
Yes, and also coupled with the fact that summer vacation, it's just about ready to start,
right.
And people, especially students, will start paying more attention to major international events like the Deaflympics in Taipei. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with Dr. Sheng Deaflympics, and we're going to continue this conversation about the 21st Deaflympics in Taipei. We'll be right back.